Welcome to the NCTC recipe of the month. Today we are making a yogurt frozen bark, and we are going to be featuring this heart healthy recipe because February is Heart Health Month. And our feature produce is going to be strawberries. Now, typically strawberries come in season the month of May. However, at your local grocery store during February, strawberries are very reasonably priced. And so this is a great time for you to buy extra strawberries and maybe put them back and freeze them. Also, strawberries are very good for your heart. And so since it is Heart Health Month, we want to make sure that we have a recipe that is going to be good for our heart. So let's start off with this. First off, you need 32 ounces of Greek yogurt. This is vanilla. I would recommend using a flavored Greek yogurt instead of plain. Then I have 1 cup of fruits. We are using strawberries and raspberries today. And then I have 1/2 cup of granola. Now, the granola that I chose to get and the recipe tells us to get is a low sugar granola. And so how you would go about looking for a low sugar granola is you have to read the nutrition facts. So when you're in the grocery store shopping, pick out a few of your favorite types of granolas and then look at the nutrition facts and find the sugar on the back of the package. And that is some ways that you can compare to see which one has less sugar in that product. The granola also has some nuts and seeds included into this, and so nuts and seeds are also very heart healthy for our body. They give us a healthy type of fat, and so I wanted to make sure that this granola incorporated healthy fats for our heart. So let's get started. I have a baking sheet and I have lined it with parchment paper. Parchment paper is very key to this recipe. If you don't use parchment paper, when we get done our frozen bark, it doesn't break up very well. So make sure you line this with parchment paper. So this is our vanilla Greek yogurt, and we are going to just put it all over our baking sheet. And I've got this out. And one thing that I also like about Greek yogurt is it has higher protein than your regular yogurt at the grocery store. And so this is going to be able to keep you fuller than your other non-Greek yogurt. So take your spatula and we are going to just smooth this out onto our baking sheet. A tip that I like to do after I have it smoothed out a little bit is I like to shake it. And then I like to go over it just a little bit more, and that kind of helps make sure that it's equal so that you, when you break up your bark, once we freeze this at the end of this recipe, it'll make us have like more uniform pieces. So now I have this on here. And we are going to take our strawberries and raspberries and we are just going to place them in here. And you can use whatever fruit that you have on hand. You don't necessarily have to use strawberries, but I definitely wanted to highlight the red since we're in February. It's Heart Health, we have Valentine's. You can use blueberries or blackberries. I will say your berries, so your blueberries, your blackberries, your strawberries, your raspberries, these have a little bit lower sugar content than other types of fruits, and they are also good if you're trying to maybe watch your sugars and you are diabetic. These have a little bit less sugar than your other varieties of fruit, so that's another reason why they are good for you and heart healthy. And so just spread all of these over here. This is a great recipe too for children to help you in the kitchen if you have kids or grandchildren. My daughter loves to help me make this. It's really quick and simple. Now we have our 1/2 cup of our granola and we are just going to spread it all over here and make sure you get it coated. I don't know if you can see but any of the nuts or seeds, but there's some bigger chunks. Those are going to be some of the walnuts that are in here. This has sunflower seeds, which are really good for heart health as well. And this granola is also going to give us a nice crunch in here. And even though this has a lower sugar content, I feel like the granola placed with the berries kind of helps give it sweetness, even though we have a reduced sugar granola that we picked out. It just kind of helps give it all kinds of flavor. If you want to put more granola on this recipe, you can feel free to. I feel like even though this called for a half a cup, I think I'm going to stop because this is the place where I like mine to look like this. So we're not going to use that total half a cup in our recipe today. You can use more or less. That's one thing about this is it is versatile. You could also add more fruit if you wanted to, or take away fruit. The only thing that I do recommend is make sure that you're using the 32 ounces of yogurt. You need that for the kind of the stability of this. So now that we have our recipe together, we are going to place this in the freezer for 1 hour. It's important that you leave it in the freezer at least 1 hour because we want to make sure that this sets up and it's going to turn into that frozen bark. So if you can add more time to it, that's totally fine. Also, make sure if you get ready to serve this that you don't pull it out of the freezer until you are ready to consume the recipe. So we're going to go pop this in the freezer, and then we will show you the final product after it gets done cooling. Okay, so our recipe has finished. It's been in the freezer for an hour, and now the fun part. We are going to break this up. And so earlier I was talking about how it's really important that you have parchment paper. It makes it so easy for us to just take our little pieces and make it into our bark. And so we are just going to take it and we are going to tear it up, and then you have these cute little frozen bars for your family to eat. You can store these for about a week in a Ziploc bag or a freezer safe type container for your family, and then these are just perfect little snacks that you can eat on. And so these are our wonderful little bars that we have. If you would like this recipe, you can contact Barry at NCTC, or you can go to the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension and you can search Heart Healthy Recipes, and you will be able to find our frozen berry treat, which is what this is. And this recipe is featured by the Food and Health Alliance, and they have a lot of great recipes that they offer if you need recipes for heart health. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.